All right, team, welcome. This is Emma. This is session 1 of Posture Lab and Pose Breakdowns. So these are going to be quick informational videos. We're building at the most foundational yoga poses, kind of building our way up. We're going to work through some of the most common misalignments that I often see in classes and that can be hard to catch maybe on your own, especially if you haven't been practicing for a long time. So we're going to get started today. We're covering 2 poses today. They're very basic. However, there's a lot of cueing that can be missed in just a simple vinyasa class because we move through it so quickly. So our first pose we're going to focus on today is Tadasana Mountain Pose and Urdhva Hastasana, which is upward salute, arms up when we are usually doing a sun salutation. Now I do have a video, like a chaturanga sun salutation tutorial that you might find helpful as well, especially if you're new to the practice. However, today, episode 1 of Posture Lab and Pose Breakdowns, we're starting Tadasana Mountain Pose. So in general, I'm going to have you step your feet together. Your big toes are going to kiss a little sliver between your heels. Now, if you're just standing like this, unrelaxed, it would be very easy for someone to very rudely come tap your shoulder, and you might have to take a step back because you are disengaged. However, if you find that you are pretty strong in your posture, you're squeezing, if someone's going to come over and again rudely push your shoulder, you might maybe sway a little bit, but you're not likely going to have to take a step back. So I like to use this analogy, of course, in person and actually do that, but we can only do so much over YouTube. So if you could just imagine, being disengaged, someone pushing your shoulder, you probably take a step. If you're engaged, same thing happens. You're likely going to stay strong in that same position. That's exactly what we want. So let's start at the feet. If you close your eyes, you can kind of rock a little bit forward and backward, right and left. And eventually you'll kind of find a center position where you feel there's even pressure through all 4 corners of both feet. So you're not really gripping the mat with your toes. The toes are actually pretty light. You're really going to be pressing through the big toe mound of your feet and then the pinky edge, like the pinky toe mound of your foot. So 2 mounds of your feet and into your heels. So try to find that center position and then almost feel a lift up through your inner thighs. So the inner thighs squeeze, almost like you're getting a little bit taller. There's going to be a lot of focus on the pelvic area, the lower abdominal area. We like to use the bandhas in yoga. So there's 3 main bandhas. The Mula Bandha is the one that we're talking about right now. This is your root lock. So you almost feel like you're pulling energy up and in, like if you were to do a Kegel exercise or lift your pubic bone almost. And then the belly button in turn pulls back towards your tailbone and down a little bit. So everything within your pelvic area, core area is engaged and active. This is going to cause a little bit more stability, more contraction in your abs, so less likely for you to fall over if someone were to push you. So a lot of the focus is going to be around your pelvic area, squeezing, engaging your Mula Bandha, and then feeling almost a little tuck of the pelvis. So you almost feel like your tailbone is scooping down towards your heels, your glutes engaged to help press the hip points forward. So if the glutes are disengaged, Mula Bandha is not engaged, you're going to have this little arch. I'm exaggerating, but you're going to have this arch of your back like a C curve. So that's going to cause lower back pain, which is very, very common because we see a lot of people standing like this naturally. So you want to do the opposite. You want to tuck the pelvis, pull up and in, pull your belly button back, and now you'll see that my back has minimized that C curve in the lower spine. Now, think about knitting your ribs in towards your hips. So you're kind of minimizing the space in between your hip points and your ribs. And that's going to help you engage and contract your core. So you almost feel like if someone were about to punch you in the stomach, that's how you're going to contract, pull your abs in. That's exactly what you want in this position as well. Relax your shoulders, roll the shoulders down your spine. You want to feel a little lift through your heart space. So a little lift of the sternum, proud chest, shoulders relaxed. If it helps, you could take an inhale, roll your shoulders up towards your ears, and then relax your shoulders down your spine. And then as soon as you start to forget, again, press into your feet, feel the lift through your inner thighs, engage your core. There's always something more to think about, which is also kind of the beautiful thing, is that it doesn't really give your mind a chance to wander. So if you start to disengage from the pose, come back to what you're feeling in your body, where you need to contract, where you need to engage or soften. And that kind of takes your mind out of the spiral or off of your to-do list, whatever else you might be thinking about. So keeping that constant engagement is key. You never really get to a pose and they're like, perfect, check it off. I did it, I'm done. It's not like a rep, like a bicep curl. You do one rep and you're done. You don't just come into mountain pose, engage for a second and say, okay, I'm done. No, it's a constant engagement, constant presence. You always have to remain engaged. So I hope you understand that. If for some reason the feet together doesn't feel good, you don't have space with your legs, no problem. Take your feet about the width of your hips and do the same thing. You can still engage your inner thighs. You can still tuck your pelvis and engage around your pelvic area. Your feet just aren't touching. So there's always that option as well. You're going to take this similar position for upward salute. So traditionally, when we take a sun salutation A, we start in this position, mountain pose or Samastitihi. Then you inhale, reach your arms up. Now, from the side, you can easily see I'm going to be arching my back a little bit here. Naturally, that will happen, but if you are not aware, what you might be doing is really arching your back, almost sticking your butt out, your chest out. So yes, it feels like a deeper back bend because your thoracic spine is bending a lot more, but we don't really want that. You want to keep that spine nice and neutral, maybe a little back bend, but it's your hips need to stay forward and the bend is going to come more from your upper back, less from your middle and lower back. So you want to keep that protected by keeping the hips pressing forward. You don't want your butt to stick back. So keep the legs exactly as they are. Squeeze. Inhale, reach your arms up. So you'll feel some strain, some pulling through your abdomen. It's going to help tone that. As you look up, you'll feel even more stretch through the front of your body. That's exactly what we want. So you inhale, reach your arms up. Maybe even look up and press your palms together. Now it's easy for the shoulders to hug up to the ears, causing some compression in the neck. So even though your arms are up, try to relax your shoulders a little bit. If palms together is not feeling great on your shoulders, you can always take your hands out the width of your shoulders and just face your palms towards each other. So as you can see, I'm kind of in one straight line here. I'm not sticking my chest out and my butt back and looking up. I'm tucking the pelvis in, knitting the ribs in, and maybe looking up. Now, I know it's a lot to remember, so the key takeaways here are reduce the curve in the lower back, keep your core engaged, and try not to grip the mat with your toes. So it's easy. You might feel a little bit more stable if you start to grip the mat with the toes, especially as you inhale, reach up and shift your gaze, but try to keep pressing through all four corners of those feet. So you start in mountain pose, inner thighs engaged, you almost feel a zipping up of your thighs. Press your hip points a little forward by squeezing your glutes. Feel your tailbone scoop down towards your heels. Relax your shoulders down your spine. On your inhale, keep your legs exactly as they are. Reach your arms up. Feel some length through your waist, but stay firm through your feet. Look up and relax your shoulders. And release to mountain pose. All right, those are poses 1 and 2. Tadasana, mountain pose. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Again, pretty basic, but maybe a little bit more to them than you would have thought. If you learned something from this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and each week we're gonna be covering 1 or 2 new poses in our posture lab. So they're all kind of gonna get progressively a little bit more intricate, more interesting as we move on. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste.